Was it for this? A selection from the Prelude, Book 1, by William Wordsworth. Was it for this that one, the fairest of all rivers, loved to blend his murmurs with my nurse's song, and from his alder shades and rocky falls, and from his fords and shallows, sent a voice that flowed along my dreams? For this didst thou, O Derwent, travelling over the green plains near my sweet birthplace, didst thou, beauteous stream, make ceaseless music through the night and day, which, with its steady cadence, tempering our human waywardness, composed my thoughts to more than infant softness, giving me, among the fretful dwellings of mankind, a knowledge, a dim earnest of the calm that nature breathes among the hills and groves. When, having left his mountains, to the towers of Cockermouth that beauteous river came, behind my father's house he passed, close by along the margin of our terrace walk. He was a playmate whom we dearly loved. Oh, many a time have I, a 5 years' child, a naked boy in one delightful rill, a little mill race severed from his stream, made one long bathing of a summer's day, basked in the sun, and plunged and basked again alternate, all a summer's day, or coursed over the sandy fields, leaping through groves of yellow groundsel, or when crag and hill, the woods and distant Skidaw's lofty height were bronzed with a deep radiance, stood alone beneath the sky, as if I had been born on Indian plains, and from my mother's hut had run abroad in wantonness to sport, a naked savage in the thunder shower.
My father played the melodeon from A Christmas Childhood by Patrick Kavanagh. My father played the melodeon. Outside at our gate, there were stars in the morning east, and they danced to his music. Across the wild bogs, his melodeon called to Lennon's and Callan's. As I pulled down my trousers in a hurry, I knew some strange thing had happened. Outside in the cow house, my mother made the music of milking. The light of our stable lamp was a star, and the frost of Bethlehem made it twinkle. A water hen screeched in the bog. Mass-going feet crunched the wafer ice on the potholes. Somebody wistfully twisted the bellows wheels. My child poet picked out the letters on the gray stone in silver, the wonder of a Christmas townland, the winking glitter of a frosty dawn. Cassiopeia was over Cassidy's hanging hill. I looked, and 3 wind bushes rode across the horizon. The 3 wise kings. An old man passing said, "Can't he make it talk?" The melodeon. I hid in the doorway and tightened the belt of my box-pleated coat. I nicked 6 nicks in the doorpost with my penknife's big blade. There was a little one for cutting tobacco, and I was 6 Christmases of age. My father played the melodeon. My mother milked the cows, and I had a prayer like a white rose pinned and the Virgin Mary's blouse.
The Whole Mess, Almost, by Gregory Corso. I ran up 6 flights of stairs to my small furnished room, opened the window, and began throwing out those things most important in life. First to go, truth, squealing like a fink. Don't! I'll tell awful things about you. Oh yeah? Well, I've got nothing to hide. Out! Then went God, glowering and whimpering in amazement. It's not my fault. I'm not the cause of all this. Out! Then love, cooing bribes. You'll never know impotency. All the girls on Vogue covers, all yours. I pushed her fat ass out the window and screamed, you always end up a bummer. I picked up faith, hope, charity, all 3 clinging together. Without us, you'll surely die. With you, I'm going nuts. Goodbye. Then beauty. Ah, beauty. As I led her to the window, I told her, you I loved best in life. But you're a killer. Beauty kills. Not really meaning to drop her, I immediately ran downstairs, getting there just in time to catch her. You saved me, she cried. I put her down and told her, move on. Went back up those 6 flights, went to the money. There was no money to throw out. All that was left in the room was death, hiding beneath the kitchen sink. I'm not real, it cried. I'm just a rumor, spread by life. Laughing, I threw it out, kitchen sink and all, and suddenly realized humor was all that was left. All I could do with humor was to say, out the window with the window.
An extract from The Ballad of Reading Gaol by Oscar Wilde. There is no chapel on the day on which they hang a man. The chaplain's heart is far too sick, or his face is far too wan, or there is that written in his eyes which none should look upon. So they kept us close till nigh on noon, and then they rang the bell, and the warders, with their jingling keys, opened each listening cell. And down the iron stair we tramped, each from his separate hell. Out into God's sweet air we went, but not in wonted way. For this man's face was white with fear, and this man's face was grey. And I never saw sad men who looked so wistfully at the day. I never saw sad men who looked with such a wistful eye upon that little tent of blue we prisoners call the sky, and at every happy cloud that passed in such strange freedom by. But there were those amongst us all who walked with downcast head, and knew that, had each got his due, they should have died instead. He had but killed a thing that lived, whilst they had killed the dead. For he who sins a second time wakes a dead soul to pain, and draws it from its spotted shroud, and makes it bleed again, and makes it bleed great gouts of blood, and makes it bleed in vain.
The Meadow Mouse by Theodora West. In a shoebox, stuffed in an old nylon stocking, sleeps the baby mouse I found in the meadow, where he trembled and shook beneath the stick, till I caught him up by the tail and brought him in, cradled in my hand. A little Quaker, the whole body of him trembling, his whiskers sticking out like a cartoon mouse, his feet like small leaves, little lizard feet, whitish and spread wide when he tried to struggle away, wriggling like a muniscal puppy. Now he has eaten his 3 kinds of cheese and drunk from his bottle cap watering trough. So much he just lies in one corner, his tail curled under him, his belly big as his head, his bat-like ears twitching, tilting toward the least sound. Do I imagine he no longer trembles when I come close to him? He seems no longer to tremble. But this morning, the shoebox house on the back porch is empty. Where has he gone? My meadow mouse, my thumb of a child that nuzzled in my palm. To run under the hawk's wing, under the eye of the great owl watching from the elm tree. To live by courtesy of the shrike, the snake, the tomcat. I think of the nestling fallen into the deep grass, the turtle gasping in the dusty rubble of the highway, the paralytic stunned in the tub and the water rising. All things innocent, hapless, forsaken.
The Lost Land by Van Boland. I have 2 daughters. They are all I ever wanted from the earth, or almost all. I also wanted 1 piece of ground, 1 city trapped by hills, 1 urban river, an island in its element, so I could say, mine, my own, and mean it. Now they are grown up and far away, and memory itself has become an emigrant, wandering in a place where love dissembles itself as landscape, where the hills are the colours of a child's eyes, where my children are distances, horizons. At night, on the edge of sleep, I can see the shore of Dublin Bay, its rocky sweep and its granite pier. Is this, I say, how they must have seen it, backing out on the mailboat at twilight, shadows falling on everything they had to leave and would love forever. And then I imagine myself at the landward rail of that boat, searching for the last sight of a hand. I see myself at the underworld side of that water, the darkness coming in fast, saying all the names I know for a lost land. Ireland, absence, daughter.
I'm explaining a few things by Pablo Neruda in a translation by Nathaniel Tarr. You are going to ask, and where are the lilacs? And the poppy-petalled metaphysics? And the rain repeatedly spattering its words and drilling them full of apertures and birds? I'll tell you all the news. I lived in a suburb of Madrid with bells and clocks and trees. From there, you could look out over Castile's dry face, a leather ocean. My house was called the House of Flowers because in every cranny geraniums burst. It was a good-looking house, with its dogs and children. Remember, Raoul? Raphael? Federico, do you remember? from under the ground, my balconies on which the light of June drowned flowers in your mouth. Brother, my brother, everything loud with big voices, the salt of merchandises, pile-ups of palpitating bread, the stalls of my suburb of Arguelles with its statue like a drained inkwell in a swirl of hake. Oil flowed into spoons, a deep baying of feet and hands swelled in the streets. Meters, liters, the sharp measure of life, stacked up fish, the texture of roofs with a cold sun in which the weather vane falters, the fine, frenzied ivory of potatoes, wave on wave of tomatoes rolling down the sea. And one morning, all that was burning. One morning, the bonfires leapt out of the earth, devouring human beings. And from then on, fire. Gunpowder from then on, and from then on, blood. Bandits with plains and moors. Bandits with finger rings and duchesses. Bandits with black friars spattering blessings came through the sky to kill children. And the blood of children ran through the streets, without fuss, like children's blood. Jackals that the jackals would despise, stones that the dry thistle would bite on and spit out, vipers that the vipers would abominate. Face to face with you, I have seen the blood of Spain tower like a tide to drown you in one wave of pride and knives. Treacherous generals, see my dead house. Look at broken Spain. From every house burning metal flows instead of flowers. From every socket of Spain, Spain emerges, and from every dead child a rifle with eyes, and from every crime bullets are born, which will one day find the bullseye of your hearts. And you'll ask, why doesn't his poetry speak of dreams and leaves and the great volcanoes of his native land? Come and see the blood in the streets. Come and see the blood in the streets. Come and see the blood in the streets.
I Shall Not Go to Heaven by Helen Waddell. I shall not go to heaven when I die, but if they let me be, I think I'll take the road I used to know that goes by Shernagara and the sea. And all day breasting me the winds will blow, and I'll hear nothing but the peewits cry, and the waves talking in the sea below. I think it will be winter when I die, for no one from the north could die in spring, and all the heather will be dead and grey, and the bog cotton will have blown away, and there will be no yellow on the wind. But I shall smell the peat, and when it's almost dark, I'll set my feet where a white track goes glimmering to the hills, and see far up a light. Would you think heaven could be so small a thing as a lit window on the hills at night? And come stumbling in from the gloom, half blind, to a firelit room. Turn and see you, and there abide. If it were true, and if I thought they would let me be, I almost wish it were tonight I died.
I Gave Away That Kid by Grace Paley. I gave away that kid like he was an old button. Here, old button, get off of me. I don't need you anymore. Go on, get out of here. Get on into the army. Go sew yourself onto the captain's shirt or the colonel's flag, jackass. Don't you have any sense? Don't you read the papers? Why are you leaving now? That kid walked out of here like he was the cat's pajamas. What are you wearing PJs for, you damn fool? Quit your crying. You couldn't get another job anywhere anyways. Go march to that army's drummer. Be a man like all your dead uncles, and then think of something else to do. Lost him. Sorry about that, the president said. He was a good boy. Never seen one like him again. Why don't you repeat that, Your Honor? Why don't you sizzle up the meaning of that sentence for your breakfast? Why don't you stick him in a pair and count to 10 before my wife gets you? That boy is a puddle in Beirut, the paper says. Scraped up for singing in church. Too bad. Too bad is a terrible tune. It's no song at all, so how come you sing it? I gave away that kid like he was an old button. Here, old button. Get off of me. I don't need you anymore. Go on. Get out of here. Get into the army. Sew yourself onto the colonel's shirt. Or the captain's fly. Jackass. Don't you have any sense? Don't you read the papers? Why are you leaving now?
What is the Word? By Samuel Beckett. Folly. Folly 4-2. 4-2. What is the Word? Folly from this. All this. Folly from all this. Given. Folly given all this. Seeing. Folly seeing all this. This. What is the Word? This here. All this. All this here. Folly given all this. Seeing, folly seeing all this here. What is the Word? See. Glimpse. Seem to glimpse. Need to seem to glimpse. Folly for to need to seem to glimpse. What? What is the Word? And where? Folly for to need to seem to glimpse. What? Where? What is the Word? There. Over there. Away over there. Afar. Afar away over there. A faint. A faint afar away over there. What? What is the Word? Seeing all this? All this? All this here? Glimpse. Seem to glimpse. Need to seem to glimpse. Folly for to need to seem to glimpse. A faint afar away over there. Folly for to need to seem to glimpse. A faint afar away over there. What? What is the Word? What is the Word?